Alright, it's been a few weeks since the last episode. Was it a grand comeback? Or a mid one? Well, in this episode, the Volt Tackler's ship needs to be rebooted. So in the meantime, they stop to have a picnic. With sandwiches on the menu. And unfortunately, there's nary a rice ball or donut in sight. But it is a neat way to show off the characters' personalities. Lico's organized and constructive. Roy's an overly optimistic glutton. And where have we seen that before? Captain Pikachu is a Pikachu, and therefore is worthy to be worshipped. Lico starts reminiscing, giving the audience a somewhat unnecessary recap of her journey up until this point. The couple hours she spent in school, meeting Spriggy, training, breaking and entering, and the bond they formed so far. And Roy starts inspecting his ancient ball, maybe to see if it's edible? He then gets a recap, but funnily enough, it's narrated by Lico instead of him. And I did get a kick out of Spriggy yanking the ball and the Mons playing with it. And then we get a cute family photo. Next, Roy gets his sandwich stolen and seeks revenge. Noticing that Dot's not present, Lico reaches out to Murdoch and they have a talk about how they can reach out to her. Later, they corner the bird and get a pretty majestic shot, then a battle starts. It features a scream-off that Roy eventually and thankfully put the stop to. But him and Coco decide to share, energizing the watch roll for another battle. That we don't get to see. Dot tries to put on a stream, but doesn't have the spirit to as she gets a severe case of FOMO. And in a super sweet way, Lico and Murdoch decide to bring the picnic to Dot. And Ludwig explains that Lico wants to be friends. And maybe Dot starts to warm up to that idea. And as a thank you, Dot tries to confess her Nidothing identity. But Lico still doesn't put it together? It thinks Dot and Nidothing are just really tight. And in a sweet turn of events, Lico's gesture gave Dot the spirit and pep to stream, which honestly for sure is my favorite Nidothing moment so far. And Murdoch and Freet seem thankful they have Lico with them, because she really seems to understand Dot. And after Roy's off-screen battle, he shows up empty-handed, before taking off again somewhere. And at the end, an ominous man, likely the one from before, shows up and disrupts their system, which shuts it down and prevents them from leaving. This episode was fine. I wish it was a bit more of a spectacle for a return episode, but it was a filler. And as far as fillers go, just an okay one. I'd say this gets a C.